You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Well, Tulane gets Memphis for the second time this year. We'll recap the game against the Green Wave, sit down with the NIL director here at U of M, and look ahead to a road trip to Tampa and a home game against Temple. It's The Penny Hardaway Show. Let's go.
The game is on.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from number one. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone, and is supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers.
You just never know in college basketball. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Woloshin.
I'm Matt Infield. Memphis falls to Tulane for the second time this year. Let's check out the highlights. Big day for Tiger basketball across the board. At long last, Lorenzen Wright, number 55, retired at FedEx Forum, right next to Penny Hardaway's number 25. A Memphis legend immortalized forever. Plus, Larry Finch bobblehead day as well. The winningest coach in Tiger history and Memphis native honored. Plus, it was a revenge game for the Tigers, trying to avenge a loss to Tulane in NOLA on New Year's Day. Another monster game for DeAndre Williams earns him our Outstanding Performer of the Week honor. 19 points, 17 rebounds for him. This layup puts Memphis up by 1. Elijah McCadden is our Defensive Player of the Week. Tigers down 1. Great closeout by him. Forces a shot clock violation. Game would go to overtime, tied at 79 apiece. Tigers down 1 with 8 seconds left in OT. They call 3, as you'd expect. Davis trying for the game-winning triple, but can't get it to fall. Memphis falls in an overtime heartbreaker, 90-89. Their first home loss since January 2022.
Coach, I know it's hard to believe, but we're halfway done. So let's sort of look back and analysis of the first half season in the conference. You happy, not happy, where you at?
No, I'm happy. I mean, with the injuries that we've had, we let a couple games go that we know that we should have won, but we bounced back pretty well. And especially being undermanned and not having everybody back throughout that entire 5, 6, 7 game series. And to come out of that the way we did is, I'm happy about that.
I think a lot of people had really high expectations of Kendrick Davis before the season started, and it feels like he's surpassed them. Just how do you sum up what he's given you guys this year?
Special. That's how I sum it up. He's just a special guy. He understands what Memphis basketball and what the fans expect, what it's all about, the grit and grind of what we have to do, the tradition of the university, and he wants to win. He wants to get to the NCAA tournament and then let the chips fall where they made from that point, but he's special.
He has said with us on the radio after a game how you've really become his father. His father is missing, and that you have really taken on that role.
Yeah, our relationship has grown. I mean, we instantly hit it off, from the first day that I spoke to him. But over time, since he's been here, he's understood that I really care about him. He understands that I'm going to push and to make him great, to make our team great. And our relationship on and off the court is really good.
We knew that him and DeAndre would be the 2 lead dogs throughout the season, but it feels like lately especially that third role is kind of becoming more consistent, whether it's Elijah, whether it's Keontae. Do you feel like you have something there going forward the rest of the year?
Yeah, for sure we have something going forward. You can add Jaden, you can add Jonathan, but really Elijah and Keontae are scoring better, and Elijah does so much for us. He guards the other team's best player. He does so much, and Keontae making shots, getting to the basket and making plays.
There has been a theme in your coaching tenure where your teams, it's a lot like John Calipari, to be honest with you, where your teams get a lot better after Christmas. Your team, if you watch the way they pass the ball, the amount of assists that have gone up, your problem with rebounding, which has diminished, how do you get your teams to respond down the stretch and get so much better?
Well, I think it just takes some time for the chemistry, because when you bring 8, 9 guys in, you don't have that core group there every year and just add 1 or 2 guys. We're adding a full team every year. So for me, we make it through the non-conference, and once we get into conference, it's starting to settle a little bit, and maybe 3 or 4 games in the conference, it's settled, and we have our identity. So that's what's been happening to us.
With those injuries, and we know chemistry is so important, you're going to bring back Malco. You're going to bring back Alo into a group that has really played well. How do you bring them back into the rotation and keep chemistry?
I've started the process on that way early. Talking to Malcolm, talking to Alo, I'm going to start watching film with them of our current games and what we need from them coming back, from what they see, get their input. I've been actually getting their input on how to transition, coming back into the fold, and they both understand that they're going to have to come back and do what we need them to do for us to be successful.
Would you say there's been a pleasant surprise that maybe you weren't expecting throughout the season so far?
I think I've expected everyone to be who they were. I mean, I expected Elijah, Keontae, Demarie, Jaden, and Jonathan and all those guys to do what they do. The best surprise for me is that how we're meshing now, being undermanned. Because we're fighting, we're scrapping. Some of these games are very hard that we're making, look pretty easy because of the chemistry and how guys really are fighting for one another.
I've been really fascinated how you'll try to use people in different spots. And let's go to Demarie Franklin, because I know you expected a lot of him. He has struggled. You've now started playing him really as a power forward, even though he's 6'3", it seems to me. And I think it's really not totally caught on yet, but I see the potential.
Yeah, Demarie definitely, when he was just practicing, he had no pressure on him. He was coming into practice looking extremely good, like making shots, defending. Once he got into the fold, the nerves started, the pressure started, and then he just changed. And now, like you said, just moving him around in the lineup to try to get him more comfortable. He is getting to be more comfortable out there, and we know that he's still coming because he's willing to do whatever we need him to do to win the game.
This city is about grit and grime. Do you think this team, it's not always super pretty, but the results more often than not are there? Do you think this team kind of embodies that personality of the city?
This team is definitely a grit and grind team. There's no cuteness about it. We go out there and we scrap it together and make it work, and great teams just find a way. And this team is finding a way.
You also have a new coaching staff. You had to really integrate with everybody. That seems to be meshing really well too. Has that improved?
Yeah, I think, with everyone that's in the coaching staff, there are no egos. It starts with Coach Hayes, myself, Faraji, Andy. We all love each other. We all support each other. We bounce things off of one another all the time. And again, no one is trying to outdo one another. We're doing it together.
The last guy that's so critical to you is DeAndre Williams. When he's in the game, he's unbelievable. And his timing is like Kendrick Davis's. They know when to step it up. Keeping him in control seems to be something that you guys are doing a better job of.
Yeah, we're bringing him up to the coaches' meetings. We're watching film with DeAndre, talking to him a lot. And then he's starting to realize that his emotions get the best of him in certain situations, and that's when he starts to foul. That's when the frustration starts to hit, and then he turns into someone else and can't get locked back in. So now with us, helping him with that, doing much better.
What are the main things that you're keying on to take this team to the next level, to make a run throughout conference the rest of the season, conference tournament, and ultimately March Madness?
Well, it starts with defense because defense travels. We have to continue to try to get a number that we want to hold teams under. My number is 60, 65 every game, and we have to fight to get that done. If you do that, then you're going to be in a lot of games. And then offensively, get the ball up the court and share the basketball. It's just about getting assists, getting hockey assists, and getting assists.
No three letters have taken over college sports like NIL. We'll sit down with the person who oversees it all here at Memphis. Coming up next.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Welcome back to The Penny Hardaway Show. Name, image, and likeness. NIL has become the wild, wild west of college athletics. Bridget Perrine is the person in charge here at U of M of guiding Tigers athletes into the future. Perrine was a college athlete herself, competing in track and field at Lipscomb. So the discussion around NIL is nothing new to her.
I knew I, as a student athlete, wasn't able to have certain jobs because it capitalized on my name, image, and likeness. And so having the waivers that I had to sign as a student athlete that prevented me from earning in certain ways to now being able to see kids actually being able to earn is really cool.
After stints working at her alma mater and then Mercer University in marketing, Marine took the leap last February to become Memphis's first ever director of name, image, and likeness.
It is a wild new world. So what did you think you were getting into, and then once you jump into it, what's it actually like?
Yeah, it's building the plane as it's flying for sure. I think we get new rules every 3 months, and so we kind of are just pivoting and adapting. You know, when I first got hired, the legislation was one of the more conservative ones across the nation, and then 2 months later it was then more the most liberal one. So it was kind of cool to kind of see, okay, how can we shift? How can we help position our student athletes? And then the differences of opportunities versus support versus resources, and kind of what that looks like and how to fall within those lines to make sure that we're following all the NCAA rules, all the state laws, and everything else that might pop up along the way.
So I think one of the things that a lot of people are honestly confused about is, how does money get from point A to point B, I guess, which is a player's bank account in the end?
Yeah, there's a lot of different ways. We'll kind of take it from a fan's perspective. So say you're a huge fan of one of our men's basketball players and you have a 7-year-old son who's also a huge fan of said player. You can pay them through the Open Doors Marketplace. It can be as easy as, hey, my son's birthday is tomorrow. Can you wish him a happy birthday? I'll give you $100. They send you a video, he gets $100. Your son has the best 7th birthday ever. From a brand perspective, it can kind of work that same way. Hey, I want you to come out to my restaurant. I want to put your name on a burger. Come out, take photos, sign autographs, whatever that looks like, I'll give you X amount of money. We've seen long-standing ones to kind of go throughout the entire season. We've seen just one-offs, can do different types of affiliate marketing plans, lots of different opportunities. So they can sign an autograph, they can send you a photo, they can, you know, go to your birthday party, you name it, they can probably do it, but they have to do something. And so it can't just be, hey, here's $10,000 because I think you're great. Pretty much, if there's some type of quid pro quo work being done, it's probably a viable marketing campaign for them.
Another term that's been thrown around, NIL collectives. So what in the world is that?
So collectives are third parties. They're typically booster types, people kind of affiliated with the university as a contributor that are looking to pool money to go towards a specific institution, their sports teams. So that's kind of what that looks like. They have to play by the donor rules as well as kind of collective rules. And so you're playing by all of the NIL rules, as well as, hey, you can't talk to prospective student athletes. You can't promise anything. You can't be involved in any part of the recruiting process or anything like that. So it's a very cool thing. A lot of schools have them now, and we're really grateful to be a part of that group.
Another question, can NIL be used as a recruiting tool? It's complicated. The short answer is not directly, but
NIL, I'm not gonna say it shouldn't be a part of the recruiting process, because it now is a big part of whether or not kids, you know, can earn compensation. You know, my position was a big part of that, bringing in NIL professionals to specialize in this, to teach kids, okay, here's how to market yourself, here's how to build a pitch deck, here's what skills you're bringing to the tables, here's what key performance metrics and data-driven marketing really looks like for you as an individual. And so that is a big part of it. And then obviously talking about the portfolio of previous students on that team is a great way to kind of, you know, figure out where they're at and where they could and what they could look forward to earning within that program. Branding is a big part of it. So obviously being an institution with a great sports program, great name, just national recognition is a big part of it. But also being at a school that's willing to invest in you. So I was one of the first 10 individuals hired to specialize in NIL across NCAA schools, which is really exciting. We launched one of the first 10 marketplaces as well, which was great. And then we have partnerships with our law school on campus, our Center for Entrepreneurship, our School for Sports and Information and stuff like that, that kind of just continues to put us at the forefront of innovation and just connecting our student athletes with people that can help them be successful.
I think people just associate it with football and men's basketball, but there are some real earning opportunities out there for sports that you might not expect.
Yeah.
Can you hit on that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. We have volleyball players that are earning. We have some of our softball players are up there with the best of them in our top 10 earners across campus, which is really cool. And so seeing more people invest in women's sports across the board is great. It's the 50th anniversary of Title IX this year. So we're seeing a lot of people take advantage of that. And so looking to kind of continue to grow that, whether it's with a sponsor or with donors and just individuals in the community that want to see all of Memphis succeed, has been really, really awesome.
How do you take NIL at Memphis to the next level?
Oh, there's a lot of just innovation that can happen in this space because it's still so young. There's so much that hasn't been done. And so I have a running list of things on my phone of different projects and collateral we can implement and partnerships we can implement across the city and across the globe that I think could be really awesome.
When we think of NCAA basketball in 2023, we also think of NIL, name, image, likeness, big part of the game. How do you view that? And I know you have to be careful because you can't be as involved as the compliance people.
Yeah, it's a huge part of the game now. It's what makes and breaks a lot of these schools on getting a guy or not getting a guy, with them understanding their NIL opportunities. And for me, I think it's great that the young men and young women are able to get paid for their name, image, and likeness, because I think that's fair.
We were talking about recruiting a couple weeks ago on the show, and you said half-heartedly, but you were keeping it real too, that you are the sell for a lot of these recruits. You know that you have a brand. Even if you can't be directly involved in it, you have to think that plays an advantage for the program and bring some of that in, no?
Oh, it plays a huge advantage because I have a brand with Nike. Everyone knows my sneaker line and what Nike has done for me since '93 when I went to the NBA. When they come here, they know they're going to get an NBA experience on the court. And off the court, they know that they're being coached by a brand. So that motivates them to want to come even more.
Just what is the process like? So do you tell a prospective student athlete they should talk to this person, or how does that direct pitch work when you're talking about NIL?
Yeah, for sure. We just hand everything over to the university. It's not a pitch for us to sell about what we can personally do. It's about, we have Open Doors is the company that we use. Speak to those guys, and then you guys can get together and get deals done.
You know, be a player yourself, that you're happy to see these guys. We know the players drive the value of the program, that they're getting what they rightfully deserve, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm a player before I'm a coach because I obviously played the game. And to see that makes me happy because, you know, in the past it wasn't there. Now that it's here, it's a huge thing for a lot of schools. To me, it's fair market value for the players.
Do you ever worry about a young kid getting that kind of money, not really knowing how to save it, or taxes, things of that nature?
I think with today's financial literacy deals or whatever, where you can get financial help, I think they'll be okay.
A couple of rematches with teams the Tigers have already beaten this year coming up this week. We'll preview USF and Temple after the break.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control. Let's take a look at the AutoZone road ahead.
Crazy week coming up. Dangerous game at South Florida. A really good opportunity to try to get Temple again. Oh, and Ronnie Robinson is the bobblehead for the game with Temple.
Yeah, going to South Florida, always a tough game. Those guys play you hard. Obviously, Tyler Harris wants revenge. They played us really good here, and we went on a big run and ended up pulling away late. So hopefully we'll be better. We'll need to be better at South Florida. Coming home against Temple, Temple beating Houston at Houston. They're playing exceptionally well. They're up at the top of our conference, and they're going to be looking for revenge, but we have to protect our home court. And Big Cat, the Big Cat, Ronnie Robinson. He was our coach with Coach Finch here, volunteering, and what a beautiful soul and a vicious player.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people, when you guys beat Temple, they didn't really know what to make of that win. But like you said, they go and beat Houston. So now I think they put the league on notice. That's going to be a tough game, no doubt.
They definitely put the league on notice, but we've always known as coaches around the league that they brought everyone back and added a couple of pieces. They're a really good team.
That was tonight's AutoZone Road Ahead. AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination and official sponsor of Tiger Athletics. Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Ronnie Robinson, he might have been the very first gentle giant. We're back with a wrap in just a minute.
You're watching The Penny Hardaway Show, presented by Cook's Pest Control.
Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you again next Sunday night.
The Penny Hardaway Show is presented by Cook's Pest Control. You don't have to live with pests. Call Cook's Pest Control and get a free quote today. Conway Services, the official HVAC partner of Tiger Athletics. Tennessee Lottery, turning dollars into dreams. Tiger Bookstore, the official merchandiser of Tiger Athletics. AutoZone, when you've got car trouble, you want help from #1. So if you've got a battery problem, head to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone, AutoZone, and is supported by your Memphis area Toyota dealers. This copyrighted telecast is an exclusive presentation of Learfield under the broadcasting rights granted by the University of Memphis. Reuse of this presentation is prohibited without the expressed written consent of the University of Memphis and Learfield.